Hello people, we're about to start. We are about to start Kiki's chat show. The noise is not coming. Hello, this is Kiki's chat show. We're about to start. My music is not playing. I don't know why. So I'm just about to start the show. I've had a bit of a false start, but that's fine. This is Kiki's chat show. Today, Wednesday, the 10th of January, 2018. So this is my second show of the year. And we've entered 2018 properly. On Sunday night for Monday, Oprah Winfrey was at the CAF Awards and she made a rousing speech. A lot of people, the majority of people, loved her speech so much and they were so enthused by her speech that they wanted her to be the next president. I'm going to play her speech for you. However, I don't think she should be the next president, although I was very moved by her speech. Her speech had different issues, and I want you all to hear it. I want you to hear it, and I want you to to make up your minds about this speech. That's if my thing will play. It's not playing. I don't know why. I can't get the sound anywhere. I'm playing around with all of the dials at the moment, but her speech is coming on into the... Anyway, I will read it to you because it looks like it's not coming on. Oprah Winfrey has become a very powerful black woman. She received the Cecil B. DeMille Award for Lifetime Achievement at the Golden Globes on Sunday night. And this is the transcript. She said in 1964, I was a little girl sitting on the linoleum floor of my mother's house in Milwaukee watching Anne Bancroft present an Oscar for the Best Actor at the 36th Academy Awards. She opened the envelope, said 5 words that literally made history. She said, the winner is Sidney Poitier. Up to the stage came the most elegant man she'd ever seen. And I remember his tie was white, and of course his skin was black. I'd never seen a black man being celebrated like that. I tried many times to explain what a moment like that means to a little girl, a kid watching from the cheap seats as my mom came through the door, bone-tired from cleaning other people's houses. But all I can do is quote and say that the explanation in Sydney's performance in Lilies of the Field was Amen, Amen, Amen. I've just read you a little bit, the beginning part of the speech, only because I can't get it to play for you. I don't want to read the whole thing because I wanted you to listen to it if you hadn't listened to it already. Now, it is very important for somebody like Oprah at that age, in the time of Jim Crow. Now, Jim Crow laws are laws where black people couldn't do several things. Black people were under so many restrictions and laws, and that was what Jim Crow was about. It was, Jim Crow's law was, you cannot marry, a black person cannot marry a white person. A black person cannot give evidence against a white person. A black person can't do this. It's so many, a litany of laws against the black person. Therefore, for a black person in that year when Oprah was a little girl in 1964, it was such a major coup for Sidney Poitier, a black person, to actually receive such an award. Even to get to that point where he's acting, to be able to get an award was a major coup. Now, there are so many implications about that. She then went on to talk about, and at the awards, coming back to it, at the awards, there were a lot of women all wearing black and all doing this Me Too, hashtag Me Too. And it was mainly because of Harvey Weinstein and all of these major big producers, actors, etc., who had, in various forms, sexually attacked, molested, or did something against the female form. And so suddenly people had complained about it. People had, and it was all in 2017. 2017 seems to be the year of revelation, kind of, because people had come out and said things which had suddenly ruined these major men. Their whole lives had come crashing. It's a major coup. It is a major coup because men seem to have an upper hand on a lot of things. And let me tell you something before we go any further, and in the avoidance of doubt, I want you to know that I do not hate men. I am a mother of men. I am surrounded by men. I have brothers. I have no sister. My brothers are men, and I think they're the most wonderful people on the earth. I love men. I have been in love with men. I have played with men. My best friends are men. I love them dearly. That does not remove from the fact that women are at the end of men's mercy. Women are maltreated, downtrodden. Women are, for far too long, women have endured suffering and abuse. But somehow it seemed all right. For far too long, a woman has to be obedient and subservient before she's given an audience. And even then, in the obedience and subservience, it means that she has to control what she says. If she makes a mistake and doesn't say it well, she's ruined it all. For far too long, women have been perceived as property. The more fragile, the better. Women are labeled the weaker sex when they are the ones with the inner strength and fortitude. And we have to look. There are a lot of men love their mothers. Men will do anything for their mother, and yet they maltreat their girlfriends, they maltreat their wives. They think, women are treated with derision and and suspicion. Why? Well, we have entered 2018 and something is happening now. The tide is turning. We are living in a time when a woman will stop feeling the fear of not being heard or understood. Now, a lot of people, when I put my advert out last night, they were quite, it was men. The majority of men who replied to my text when I sent out my advert tranche was, what did Oprah say? After all, some of these women, they willingly went with the men, they willingly slept with the men, they willingly had something to do with the man, and then later on they're complaining. Men still don't understand that if this is the culture, that a woman is made to do certain things, to get something, she doesn't willingly do it. Sometimes she has no option. She cannot, there's no other way to get that job, to get that promotion. You know, when women are abused, women are looked at, finger pointing, etc. And they say this is a very bad woman, this is a tart, etc. Name calling, etc., etc., etc. Why do you think that is so? It's because there is no option for some of these women. If I willingly do something to get somewhere because I can afford, it is my wish, that is different. But there are some women who have nowhere to turn. They may have a child, they may need that job, they may need that rent, they may need that, you know, something. They need help. And nobody helps these women. If there are ladies on this show listening to me, I think we need to start looking at how we can help one woman at a time. Maybe if we did, women will then not turn to the men. Women are disrespected. Disrespected. Women are derailed. And let me tell you that I say these things not because I hate men, but because that is the truth. This is what is happening. It happens all over the world. Now, if there is a food chain and a woman has to do something to get something, she will do it. But don't be fooled. She didn't do it willingly. A lot of men out there who think that maybe, for example, they will have an affair, or an older man with a younger girl, and he thinks that she loves him. She doesn't. You are her meal ticket. She will take it as a job and behave well and do all the things that will make her get what she wants. Now, it means that women have been reduced to that point. Now, if we live in a world where, and when we say it's a man's world, men don't believe it. They don't want to accept it. But it is a man's world. The hoops women go through to get to where they want is so difficult, and sometimes it is demoralizing. I have met women who have never smiled. I have met good women who have never smiled. They have children. They feed them. They manage to feed them. They may have a job. They may have a roof over their head. They may have husbands. They do all the right things that the man wants. They never smile. I'm sure if any of you listening out there think deeply about this, you will find that you know people who are like that, who never smile. And yet they're living day to day, and they do all the right things. And they are Christian women, good Christian women, and they never smile. Why do you think that? It is because the life that they live, the life that they have put themselves into, the subjugation that they are under, does not allow them to smile. There is nothing to smile about. Why would a woman who is married to a very rich man suddenly run away and have an affair with the gardener? This is an aside, but this is something, food for thought. Why? Because maybe with the gardener, she can suddenly feel human again. And she's not under any of the shackles that the money and the pump and whatever it is going on at home. And suddenly she is a little bit freer. And maybe at that point she will smile. I think we need to readjust culture and traditions and social mores are killing women. Women have lied to themselves so much because of all of these entraptions that they don't even know when they're happy or when they're sad. They are just on autopilot. My people, we really need to look at ourselves again. We need to look at ourselves. 2018 is a new year. And if we are in it, if we are lucky to be in it, we really need to look at ourselves and we need to think deeply about our situation. What is it that we're doing that is not 100%? What is it that we're giving of ourselves that we're not actually enjoying? Can we speak our truth and not feel fear? I know a lot of people, I've met people, and you see, sometimes you are lucky enough to be in a world where there is laughter and there's fun, and you get your way, and you can be as willful as anything. I am one of those people. I am quite willful, very strong-minded, and I do what I want most of the time. However, even I do get into situations where I am discriminated against, and I am treated like a second-class citizen. But even then, it is temporary. I tell myself that this is temporary and this too shall pass. Because I'm one of those who believe strongly that my life should be full of laughter and happiness and smiling. Therefore, somebody who doesn't understand me may think I have a chip on my shoulder. No. I am confident enough to know that my life is for me. And because I know what laughter is about and what love means and what happiness is and how I can project it to other people, I can subject myself to a little bit of suffering, knowing very well that this too shall pass. If you're a woman out there and you are unhappy in your life, you have to think about it. You can have a 2-point plan. You can have a 3-point plan. You can find ways to change your life. I spoke to a lady one day who said to me the reason why she was happy to be divorced from her husband is because she realized that in their tribe, they buried the wife. When the husband died, that was fine. But when the wife died, they would bury you on top of him in the same grave. She immediately divorced her husband because she could not imagine that if she was married and had endured so many terrible things, such disrespect, him being a philanderer, him telling her that she was mad, him doing all those things to her. If she died, she would be stuck with him for eternity? No way. So she left him. Now, people, we need to think about ourselves and what is suitable for us. And I'll tell you something else. If you are in a situation where you are generally happy and you have children, they will also be happy. You will be able to relate to them, communicate with them in such a way that you will all be happy. And if you leave happy children, you have done it. If you see happy children while you are alive, and they are your children, and they're happy, you have done it. Of course, including education, etc., etc. But in their life, they have to be happy. Now, I am not insisting that you do drastic things to spite your, to cut your nose and spite your face. However, I am saying that as we grow, we learn. And as we learn, the world is becoming increasingly smaller and smaller. And as we learn, we then know that it is very important that we look at ourselves as well. And it is from ourselves. When we are confident, when we are happy, when things are going well, that we can even share a little bit with somebody else. We can help someone. We can help the next person. We can help a friend. We can be a good friend to somebody else. If you are confident and you are sure of yourself, you can give off yourself to somebody else. Life is very hard. Increasingly, we meet disappointments and we come across things that shock us. Some of us think that we can rise above it and we are not easily shockable, but we are. As you grow, you find out, you haven't seen it all. You think you've seen it all until tomorrow, when a new shocking thing happens. The thing about life is to be able to give of yourself, to amount to something. And because this is a woman's show for women by women, men can listen too, because I think that in life we learn, even if it's got nothing to do with us, we learn from other people. Therefore, men can listen to this show to educate themselves on how a woman thinks. Somebody put on Facebook a picture of Oprah Winfrey hugging Harvey Weinstein. Now, this hug was years ago, but they put it on saying she was a hypocrite for making that whole speech about women and how this was the time for change, and how here she was snoozing with this rapist, this evil man. And I disagree, actually. Oprah Winfrey, it may not have happened to her. Therefore, she didn't know. The majority of the world woke up one day and heard about what this man was doing to people. Had that lady, the first person, not come out to say what Harvey had done to her, we would still not know. It's only those who had the experience who knew it, and they had kept that secret. Now, that is fine. We know now, and if you are my friend and you treat women that way, and I find it abhorrent, I will say it. If you're my friend and you treat women in a denigrating way, if you attack them, if you do things to make them uncomfortable, and they say it to me, I will believe them. So even if you were my friend 2 years ago, 5 years ago, even if you were my childhood friend, you should not maltreat another person. It is another human being. Rape is a terrible thing. And when you rape a woman, you have ruined her life. You have changed her mental psyche. You have taken over. You have done a terrible thing. It's like a war. You have created a war in her head and upon her person. We are in difficult times because we are actually talking about things which have affected people. It is like the Holocaust. It is like slavery in America. It is like, issues that they happen and yet they are not discussed. The pain that a human being keeps inside of their body, it creates illness. It creates suspicion, distrust. We cannot live like that. And if our grandparents were living like that because this was the culture, we need to take it back. We need to take our lives back. We need to remove this suffering from women. Women need to stand up. Women are doing so many things. Now, Ghana especially, my motherland, has a lot of women in great places, in good positions. And yet, it is a little bit worrying how we are looking after each other, how women are looking after each other. It worries me a lot. You need an army, and I've said this several times. Every woman needs an army. And you need an army that you're comfortable with. You need people behind you that you can call upon in times of trouble, in times of dire need, in terrible circumstances. In Britain, where I live, in the UK at the moment, the Prime Minister promised to have a cabinet reshuffle on Monday. When she shuffled her cabinet, some resigned, some refused to take that, and she said she was going to put women and black people in positions. I don't know if this happened. I'm not sure if it happened, it went well. In the newspapers, it is being discussed as a shambles. How is it that the Prime Minister of Britain, England, hasn't got an army of women who will back her up? It is very difficult, actually, worldwide these days, in this time of openness and free thinking and free speaking. Every time you open your Facebook page or a WhatsApp page, it tells you that if your friends, if you cut your friends out, if they don't do what you want, don't spend a minute thinking about, if somebody betrays you, cut them out. If somebody does, but if you keep doing that, where is your army? When I watch Housewives of Beverly Hills or Atlanta, in fact, my latest one is Potomac. With Potomac, when someone upsets you, you have a discussion about it. They argue it out, and they talk, and then they stay friends. And I still can't deal with it, because if someone treats you badly, openly talks about you, gossips about you, does all these things, how can you still stay friends? However, I am learning that in times of dire stress, that person, if you manage to talk it out and get to some impasse with that person, when you're in trouble, they will come if you call them. So women, all I'm saying to you is you need an army. Every woman needs an army. And when you have your army, you can do anything. And when, Nkrumah said, united we stand. If you have a few, you can do wonders. As a few group of people. Now, Oprah Winfrey and her band of merry women who went to the CAF Awards on Sunday night, they were like an army. They all wore black. They all, when Oprah made her speech, they rose up. They clapped. It was emotional because they all understood where she was at. I know that some people who listened to the speech and who watched the CAF Awards, they were saying things like, these are white people who have their own agenda, and that when push comes to shove, they will not stand behind Oprah. I disagree. I know a lot of people, I have friends. I have a friend, for example, who is white, who watches, she is my friend. Shout out to Lisa. She watches my Facebook show every Wednesday. She's on it. She listens to the radio. We talk about it. I don't see her often, but she's done good things for me. And I view her as my friend. She is in my army. We can't always use the race card. We have to learn to trust people. We have to learn to be friends without any strings. We need to share our pain with people. We need to be able to go through life and be confident enough that at some time in our lives, things will be okay. And you cannot do it on your own. You need help. You need a friend. You need a confidant. In life, bad things will happen to you, but it depends on how you look at it. Look at Oprah. Oprah Winfrey has taught me a lot of things. I don't worship celebs or worship people blindly. However, there are some people that if you watch them carefully, and if you listen to them carefully, you will learn a lot to help you in your life. And I am so impressed with Oprah's speech, the way she talked about her life, how she came from poverty, how she rose. This woman was raped, maltreated. She had a stillborn child. She went through hardship. Eventually, look at where she is. It means she has not sat on her laurels and dwelt on her sadness. I have gone through a few things which some people who went through that alone have been stopped in their tracks and stuck in that time warp. I moved on. Because, in fact, in that time that I was going through that hardship, I knew it was not for me. And I knew that I had to come out of it somehow. And I knew that even though it was taking me a long time, something good was going to happen at the end. And it did. It did. It wasn't just dreaming of coming out. It was working towards it. Ladies, we need to strengthen ourselves and our nearest and dearest and our friends. We need all of us. We need to kind of think about the good things in life. And we need to be able to attain them with hard work, with backing, and with our army. Every woman needs an army. I am in somebody's army, somebody's in my army. Oprah Winfrey has an army. She has worked hard to get that army. Trust me. It is difficult, but it is attainable. In life, we sometimes have to put our head above the parapet. Since all of this has been going on in the news yesterday, I heard that there was an actress in Ghana who also has suddenly come out and said that she, in her work, yes, her name is Gloria Akpene Akwa, so she's called Miss G. She says that she works for multimedia company and that sometimes men demand sex from her before she can do certain things. And from this moment on, she is going to out those men. Then I saw a comment somewhere saying women have suddenly started trying to ruin men's lives when the men are becoming successful. They want to get money out of them, etc. That is nonsense, and that is pure BS. I don't want to say bullshit. What do you mean by that? It is men in power who do this and do it with impunity. they have something that you want. And instead of giving it to you or watching to see how good you are to be able to be your creative self or do whatever it is that you need to do, they want something back. And what they want is to take, you know, there is nothing most disgusting on this earth than consorting or sleeping with a man that you do not want, like, or love. It is like a takeover. It is horrible. It is abhorrent. But some people want the job so much, or the position so much, or they've worked towards it for so long that they will just do it. But let me let you men know that when she's done it and gone, even though she's got the job, it leaves a bitter taste in her mouth. And a lot of women out there who have done these things and they've just shut their mouth and they cannot even enjoy the position that they're in. And then there's some women who, because they've suffered to get to where they are, they don't want to help someone else to get there without equal suffering. We are just turning ourselves into a kind of a cesspool of misery, of difficulty. Why? 2018 is a time of taking it easy, looking at ourselves, trying to be kind to the next person. Let us try and see how that works, because it's either that or we ruin humanity at a certain point. When evil gets too strong, it will explode. And when it explodes, we would have ruined the world. It is very difficult to have these chats, but because this is a new era, we are in a new time. And all of this is new to all of us. To be open, to try and stop these things happening is a new thing. Because this has been happening for years. It's been happening for years. For us to be able to stop it, to be kind to each other, to be able to stop these men from taking advantage of the women, the young girls, and all of that, we women have to rise up and do something. And it's not in aggression. It is not with fighting guns or anything, but it's in our relationships, in the way that we relate to each other. If we are consistent, people change. If you are consistent enough, you will get change from the person that you want the change from. I've not been able to play music today because I just can't work out my let's see whether this will work. Still no sound. I don't know why, but it's fine. The sound is not coming through, so I will just let it go and keep talking. But I really had some nice music to play today. Some nice African music, but that's fine. I shall just keep on. There was a man who had an argument with me yesterday. And I said to him, I was going to out him today. I will not mention his name. But you kind of find that the problem about men not understanding women is conditioning. If you come from that kind of background where women are looked at in a certain way and you feel that you have the upper hand and therefore you can do certain things to these women, what happens is you don't give it a thought until someone actually stops you or someone makes you aware that this is wrong. Now, women, we are the people who bring men into the world. We give birth to those men, those boys, those beautiful babies that we have, the male child. It is our job to condition, to remove those horrible thoughts from their minds. That if you love your mother, you should love your wife, love your daughter. You should be able to see a woman in the same way as you see your mother. We have to do this. It is important to us. I'm very distressed because I can't play music. Because I have some really nice music. Now, the other thing I wanted to share with you today, in view of Oprah Winfrey's speech, is that we all are responsible for each other. Oprah Winfrey has done a lot for people. She's done a lot. She's built a school in different continents for people. She has helped people who are in dire poverty. She's taken them out. She's built them houses. She's removed, rehoused. She's done all sorts. And I can't afford to do that. I'm actually trying to even just live day to day. However, there must be something that I can do. And there must be something that you can do. We can all do something to help someone, a friend, an in-law, even your horrible relative, anyone. We need to re-look at ourselves and then look outside into the world and see what we can do. Somebody's suggesting I sing. Lisa, I can't sing. I'm not good. I cannot sing. Next week we'll play some music. But this week we're going to just talk. The whole moral of today's show is we should learn to speak our truth. It is so important. And we need to speak our truth. Let me tell you a trick, actually, somebody said to me. Speak your truth to yourself first. And then start speaking it to somebody. And your truth, you will be amazed how similar it is to somebody else's truth. Therefore, when someone is telling you their truth, alarm bells will start to ring. When we are in denial, we are denying that something is happening to us. We will never hear someone else's truth. Never. But when we are aware of what the truth is, that's when we can identify it in somebody else. Another thing I wanted to tell you is, why are people saying that Oprah Winfrey should be president? I don't think so. She should be president because of that speech she made. It was a good speech. It was an emotional speech. It was a heavy loaded speech. It spanned from the 60s straight into the present day. And it had a lot of truth in it. And she said it so easily and beautifully. However, I think America doesn't need another black person. What more, a woman? No. Let America deal with its own issues and leave Oprah alone. Oprah has gone through life. She's done what she has to do, what God has given her to do, the power. And she's done a lot. I don't think she wants to be a president. So stop saying it and stop pushing it onto her. Let others have that go. And let's see how good they are. Everybody is trying hard just to live. And when you do that, and when you succeed in that, and then you kind of look back on yourself and think, oh my God, This is wonderful. All you need to do is speak your truth. And that truth will take you far. And I've spoken my truth in this long rant. Bits of my truth are in there. And I'm sure if you listen carefully, you would see them. And you would pick them up. But that's what life is about. We all need to speak our truth. We need to identify someone else's truth as well. And we need to have empathy. 2018, if we're not careful, and we're not kind, and we do not have sympathy for our fellow woman or man, if we are not careful, the way that things are going, we may end up exploding. The world may end because too much evil, too much badness is not a good thing. But the life must carry on, and we need to be responsible enough to let life carry on. I still have 8 minutes, and I should have played music by now. But I'll tell you something what somebody said to me yesterday. She said, I have lived in America for all these years, and I have worked, and I have never actually encountered sexual harassment of any kind. And I moved from America and went to Ghana, and I experienced sexual harassment on different levels. And it's even continuing now. But I am strong enough now to swear at them. I don't want to say what she said. And this is important to you ladies out there, to identify what it is, how much you want it, and if it is necessary to go through the hoops that these horrible, insidious men desire from you, just to give somebody to help me with my children. If I had to go somewhere, if I was at work, and I had a massive army. And in fact, my army included men as well. It wasn't just women. And then as time went on, the children were growing, they're becoming more independent. My army decreased, but it was still constant. Now, we all need an army. Sometimes you have friends and they do terrible things to you, and you have no option but to move on. But that doesn't mean that you do not have an army. I have an army, and I'm not boasting, but my army spans in different continents. I've got them in America, Ghana, everywhere. And I'm in their army too. I am ready to help them, to go to war for them. And that's what we all need. We all need a kind of a relationship with people around us that is not broken enough that it cannot be salvaged. We all need people around us that will help us in different situations. We need somebody sometimes just to talk to. We need people just to tell you how beautiful you look this morning. And you need to do the same for them. You need to be there. You need to be able to speak your truth. And you need to be able to identify somebody's truth. We're living in hard times, but it's not too hard if you have your army. So, before I go today, I want you to think about this carefully. And I want you to consider how your life is going. And I want you to realize that with 2018, you will get help if you need it. If you can speak your truth. If the tide is changing and you can feel yourself changing with it. If you need help, you will get it. And this is life. This is life, and this is how it works. If someone tells you that you can live on your own as an island, it is not possible. You will falter if you do not have someone to give you serious, truthful advice. You will trip. And when you're getting up, you need someone to hold your hand to get up. That's in your army. Oprah Winfrey has also taught me that we need to constantly know how and where to fight our battles. And that with patience, we can move mountains. Those were her speech. Inside of her speech, this is what I picked up. That patience will move mountains. Somehow, we are going to make it. We need a positive attitude. We need to think clearly sometimes, and you need to have a plan. It doesn't have to be watertight, but there has to be a plan. And as the plan is working, as things unfold, you can tighten that plan up. I have 2 minutes to go. And in this 2 minutes, I need you to understand that I am very grateful to all of you who are listening to this show. I didn't manage to look at all of the comments that you have made because I'm a little bit away from the camera. So sometimes I have to go very closely to it to just see what's happening there. However, if you have comments or you want to say anything, you can leave your comments in there. If you want me to carry on with this subject, I will next week. If your comments are strong enough and you want me to say something about it, I will next week. Other than that, I shall have another topic and I shall send it all to you and we can talk about more things. This is Kiki's Chat. Thank you so much for listening. I am grateful and I do love you all very, very much. Thank you for coming on to my channel. Bye-bye. There's no music, so I can't even do the bye-bye music. I am very distressed about the music, the lack of music on my show. I have no music. Oh, I think I'm getting music now. The sound is coming back. Yeah! I've got sound. I have sound. I have sound. I have sound. No. Yo. Oh, no, I don't. The sound is... the sound has gone. Oh, no. It's not my sound. It's not... Oh, no. I don't know what's happening here, but it's fine. I came to a studio where there was nobody there. So nobody to tell me what was wrong. And yet there's something wrong. And there's nobody here to tell me. No, nothing. That is really bad. However, it's okay. In work, there are all sorts of situations and you have to deal with them. It has been a good, solid 1 hour of a rant and of all sorts of things. I hope you all took something away from this discussion. And I hope you come back next week and bring your friends and let's talk some more. Bye-bye, my lovely people. Bye-bye, Lisa. Bye-bye. Okay, let me see. Bye-bye, Lisa. Oh, God, Jodie's on. Law is on. Ikea is on. Sorry, I couldn't sing. I can't sing. I'm not good at singing. Jackie's on. Yay, Jackie. Eva, my sweetie. Lily says, it is a real shame that women are still forced to do things like that to put food on the table. We must help each other. It's called sending the elevator down. Okay. I've never heard that, but yeah. We'll send the elevator down. Jesus watching. Kate is watching. Oh my God. Charlene is watching. My uncles are watching. Quite a few people watched. Thank you all for watching. This is a close-up of me. And this is light. Let's see. I like my lipstick, actually. Do you like my lipstick, people? I love my lipstick. Bye-bye. Till next week.